Hello everyone and welcome back to another Guild Wars 2 video. I'm finally able to make a video. I just got my internet back, well, like a couple days ago. And some of you might have realized that I got my internet back because I was streaming on Twitch yesterday. I'm going to start streaming on Twitch much more now that I have ample free time. I have my own place, and I'm sorry if you can hear my chair squeaking. I found it on the side of the road, and I was like, oop, I'm poor. I need furniture, I'm gonna grab it. So, excuse the squeaking, but nevertheless, I got my internet back, and I have just managed to get into Guild Wars 2 and play the newest patch with the new Boneskinner, the capes, and of course a little bit of the balance. I'm gonna be making more videos on those features, but today, and for this video, I wanted to focus on the Boneskinner and talk about the review for my review of the Boneskinner, what it was like before, how it's like now, and kind of walk you through it because it's kind of a difficult fight. And I'm very happy to say that because starting off with the first version of this patch that launched Tuesday, some of you may know that the Boneskinner was extremely undertuned. When it was first launched, people could duo it. Personally, I watched Roar's trio and duo of the fight, and I was like, oh, that's really sad and upsetting. And I was expecting, when I logged in, to have the same experience, but by the time I logged in, they fixed all of that, all the nonsense and undertuning. And I can safely say, this fight is of the raid quality. It is definitely the hardest strike mission that we have had. But it is not unbeatable if you use unorthodox methods. The mechanics of this fight are pretty simple, but they can become quite overwhelming if you are not on top of things. And the way I actually managed to beat the Boneskinner was by completely ignoring the mechanics, but that's neither here nor there. Overall, first, to have this video be somewhat logical, because I'm kind of just rambling right now. My overall impressions of the Boneskinner fight, as I previously stated, was that I was very impressed at the difficulty. I think that this is the level, probably the cap level of how difficult public strike missions should be, considering that they're not raids, and that they are trying to get people into raiding and to warm them up to the whole raiding scene. So I think that this is a perfect difficulty. I'll say I would like it slightly easier for the next couple strike mission bosses, and then like maybe the third boss to come from the newest one could have the same difficulty, but it also depends on how creative they get with the mechanics. So overall, this fight is extremely difficult, very engaging, and offers a lot of different builds that I have been kind of theory crafting with. Thinking like, oh, this build could work here. Oh, a Shadow Stepping Thief build could work here. Someone with a lot of mobility could work here. Barrier could work here. Connie Cleanse could work here. There's a lot of different factors in this fight. So overall, once again, really enjoyed the fight. And if you have fought the Boneskinner since its update, I'd like to hear your comments down below if you guys enjoy the difficulty that it's at right now. But overall, I'm going to actually go into the mechanics. I didn't do this with the Freynier or the Kodan necessarily because it was pretty straightforward. I kind of covered the mechanics with the Freynier because that Freynier boss was, I think, at the adequate difficulty where it warranted some explanation of the mechanics. But with the Boneskinner, it's basically a raid boss in my opinion. I'm like, it's harder than Escort, in my opinion, and it's a little bit harder than Keep Construct. So yeah, I'm basically reviewing a raid boss today. So the Boneskinner, you go in with a full team of 10, I hope. You can maybe do it with 9, but 10 is probably the number you want. And you're going to get the notification to draw out the Boneskinner. All you have to do is step forward into the ring, and he will drop down from the ceiling. He does a shablam onto the battlefield. And yeah, so the Boneskinner spawns, and he will start to do some attacks. His basic attack is just a AoE cone where he shoots out spikes and they come out of the ground and it'll damage you. The main mechanic that you're going to want to focus on and can become the major focus for this fight is his breath attack, which will blow out the torches which line the perimeter of the arena. And you can see in the background that sometimes he'll be going over the torches trying to light them. What his breath attack does is it extinguishes the flame, and for each flame that is smothered, he has a growing ring around him that pulses a lot of damage and I believe works like the torment mechanic, where the more you move, the more damage you take. So overall, you want to keep as many torches lit as possible to shrink the ring. If all torches are lit, he will not have the ring. But the more torches that are smothered, the more damage he's going to be doing in a larger area. And additionally, if a torch is smothered, i.e. there's no flame in it, and he attacks the same torch with the breath attack again, I believe it completely destroys the torch. So the way that the developers, I'm guessing, structured this fight is for players to focus torches, have like 1 or 2 players with like a thief or a mesmer, some sorts with high mobility, to be managing torches to make sure that they're lit and to make sure that the ring is under controlled. It becomes very frantic at times, especially when people are not communicating or people are just straight up on the boss. So that's the major mechanic with the torches and the growing torment ring. Some other mechanics include a break bar phase, which I was very happy to see that the special action essence ability that does crowd control abilities, if everyone uses that, I don't think it completely breaks it. I think you still have to use some CC utility abilities and or profession abilities to completely break him. If it's not broken, I believe he jumps to other locations and pulses damage. So that's just another thing. And typically around this break bar phase, wisps will spawn, which you can see in the background right now. Those wisps will oftentimes spawn near the torches and smother the torches and just destroy the flame. So once again during this phase, make sure you break the break bar if you can, and have everyone in your group kind of split up, focus down the wisps, and make sure you relight the torches as fast as possible. That's pretty much another mechanic. He'll suck you in sometimes, which you can see in the background right now, and then do a massive slam. Get out of the center. It does a lot of damage, and try to dodge or get protection or Aegis up if you can. Another ability is that you will have these claws spawning at your feet if you are in close range to the Boneskinner. So pretty much just try to avoid those. Don't stand in them. They're pretty okay. I mean, it's not like, I mean, if you end up stacking like 3 of them on and you just stand in the center, you're going to be hit with a lot of damage, but they're pretty easy to avoid. So make sure you're just avoiding them when possible. I think that's pretty much the fight. Keep torches lit, kill wisps, do damage, and for the composition of the fight, this is where it becomes really fun and interesting. You definitely need 2 healers, and maybe 3. 2 healers, and then maybe a barrier scourge, which hybrids with a little bit of condition damage, which I kind of play. Ventari revenants are really fun in this fight. I've yet to take my guardian in. I did take a support necro, which was a lot of fun. So don't be afraid to do support builds. They're really valuable. As for the tanking mechanics, I actually don't know how the Boneskinner manages its aggro, and I would love to have some clarification, maybe from a developer who worked on it, just to see how the Boneskinner actually does its aggro, if it's just based on toughness, or some other factor, or if it's just random. So that's pretty much the fight and its compositions. In general, I really loved the fight. I thought it was really well crafted, well made, a whole lot of fun. It's very difficult, but the one thing I will say is that I wish the rewards would match the difficulty. I still am not getting a huge sense of rewards from the actual chests. Or if you have like I theorized like if you kill a strike mission once a week, they'll give you like some raid currency, like 10 10 magnetite shards and then like 10 crystal or blood fragments, whatever the two rating currencies are. Something really low. Maybe not 10, maybe like 5 each. Like 5 magnetite shards, 5 bloodstone or blood current, whatever the Path of Fire rating currency is. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Like the video if you liked it, and comment down below on your thoughts on the Boneskinner. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye everyone, I'm so glad to be back. All the love.